Y'all, Bryan was in court yesterday and they are really trying it. I knew that they were gonna do this. This is gonna be a ride. Before we get into it though, I did wanna let you guys know that this video is for educational entertainment purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope y'all are having a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful weekend. I am sure y'all are not worried about me or YouTube or this video, but when you get a chance to watch this, oh my gosh, I got some things to tell y'all. So it is currently Saturday morning at 10 o'clock and I'm getting ready to go ride bikes with my boys, but I had to stop and film this video for you guys because yesterday's court proceeding, they have got me stressed all the way out. Okay, so before we get into this, if you're not all caught up with the Idaho 4 case, which is involving Haley, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, I have a whole entire playlist where you can get caught up, but otherwise we're just gonna jump right into it today. So yesterday while Bryan was in court, the judge, whose name is Judge, did not allow it to be live streamed, okay? So we couldn't watch it literally while it was happening, but I was bouncing around from court TV to going over and reading what people were posting on different sites and people that were actually in court, because the judge did allow cameras in, but it just couldn't be live streamed minute for minute. So you could watch it after it happened. And I am just like, okay, this should be a good place to let you guys know that everything in this video is going to be based on my own personal opinion. I'm just gonna be speaking on things that is very, very public. The information is already out there and I am just giving y'all my unprofessional opinion. So go do your own research and form your own opinion. First of all, you guys, I know they are trying so hard, Bryan Kohberger's defense team, to get this DNA thrown out. Now, I have seen people online talking who feel like this touch DNA should not be included. But I have already told y'all, I absolutely think it should be included because it is one single source of DNA on that knife sheath. One, on the button strap. If it was 10 people's DNA on that knife sheath and his just happened to be one single cell of touch, okay, maybe it was transferred accidentally by another person, but it was one person's and it was his. And I also believe that he thought he cleaned up everything. And I think also that while he is sitting there in court, deep down inside, he is mad that he left that one single cell of DNA behind. Because again, they found a single source DNA. It could have been anything. It could have been a skin fleck. It is such a small source of DNA on the button strap of the knife sheath. However, a lot of people were surprised to see that the defense brought up, and I'm going to put this all in my own words in layman's terms, by the way. The defense brought up the fact that the investigators / the prosecution had actually found multiple other DNA at the crime scene that belonged to other males other than Bryan Kohberger.
Have provided full discovery for the sheath, the DNA found on the knife sheath, but not the other 3 unidentified male DNA samples.
And they were basically being like, listen, there was other males' DNA found here. Y'all didn't dig into them. And again, I'm putting this totally in my own words. And the prosecution was like,
we have given the defense everything that we received from the lab. They've asked for DNA workups on other people.
You know, because all of us, we know that this was a college house. There were teenagers, young adults, young men in and out of that house all the time. I mean, Ethan did not even live in this home and he was there. He was a male. He was there. His friends were in and out. We all know that the girls had male friends in and out of the house. It would be shocking if there was not other male DNA found at the crime scene, meaning at the home. However, there was only one DNA that was found on the actual knife sheath that was used to end the students' lives. So that would naturally be the person that you would look for. Then when you go to look into that person, that's when you find the cell phone records and all of the other things that they found about Bryan Kohberger. Why dig into these other DNAs, again, that we know are going to be at the house anyways because of it being a college party house? And I think that this challenging of the other DNA that was found in the house, just in the house and in a glove somewhere outside by a neighbor, I think the reason why they are bringing this up is because this is strategy from Bryan Kohberger and his side. Do y'all remember when he was arrested back in January and he allegedly asked if anyone else was arrested too? And when they told him no, there was a quiet blank stare. It's almost like, and this is just my theory right now, he is playing a game with them, and he has been from the beginning. And all he has to do is create reasonable doubt that somebody else was there or that the prosecution didn't do their full investigation and their job. And it seems like those seeds have been being planted from Bryan from the very beginning. I mean, who that gets arrested for something that they did not do, something as heinous as this, asks that type of question if you're not already trying to set up another narrative? The defense is seriously challenging this DNA. And the way that they're challenging it is because they want to know how the prosecution, exactly how they got that DNA sample from the knife sheath matched to him. The prosecution is basically saying like the genetic testing genealogy thing, you know, like a 23andMe or, you know, an ancestry.com, and it was linked to a family member and they narrowed it down, and then they were able to get Bryan Kohberger's father's DNA and match that. And then when he was arrested, they swabbed him and then boom, it was a match. It was him for sure. That's the way that I'm understanding it. But Bryan Kohberger's defense, and they brought in all of these specialists and stuff to testify, are really challenging the genetic part of it. And to me, it's like, why does that matter? When he goes to trial, they're not going to use the fact that he was matched with a 23andMe to find him guilty. They're going to use the fact that that DNA on the knife sheath matches Bryan Kohberger's DNA. When they swabbed him, it was basically a perfect match. But I get what Ann Taylor and them are trying to do. They're trying to find any tiny little loophole because that DNA is the biggest part of this case. And that makes me uncomfortable, y'all. And this is just me talking to y'all like if we was sitting on my back porch, okay? It gives me Jose Baez vibes. Y'all remember that watched the Casey Anthony trial. He pulled out every stunt in the book. You never knew the next person that was coming to testify, what was going to come out of his mouth. When Jose Baez got up there to do his opening statements,
you're going to hear all kinds of bizarre family behavior that just doesn't make sense.
To defend Casey Anthony, he spewed out all kinds of stuff that he never even talked about in the trial. Never did. He said any old thing. It was a circus. It was a full-on circus. And by the end of Casey Anthony's trial, the doggone juries were so confused. They were like, we don't know what to think. We cannot find her guilty because they had so much confusing information. And I almost feel like we're already headed down that path with these antics that it seems like the defense is pulling. And I get it. Bryan Kohberger deserves a fair trial. Also, Bryan Kohberger, you guys remember how he had like a certain amount of time to come up with his alibi, and they were kind of dangling this alibi over the prosecution's head, like, you know, we'll give you the alibi if you'll tell us this, Well, guess who his alibi was for the night of the crime, which, mind you guys, Bryan Kohberger's phone pinged over there by the house 12 times like he had been stalking them, including right before the crime and after the crime, and his phone just happened to turn off or go onto airplane mode for 2 hours during the times of the crime. Okay, just what a coinky-dink, okay? But his alibi for that time is that he likes to take car rides alone at nighttime by himself. Now, a lot of people like to do that. I mean, I used to do it whenever I was younger. I don't do it anymore. But you know, you just take car rides and you listen to music.
Can't prove his whereabouts, but that's the story and he's sticking to it. What was your reaction when you saw that actually on paper?
It helped me understand that we do have the right defendant, and there's some computer models that are out there that kind of correlate patterns and speeds and times that people could be going through that neighborhood and how they would match along those surveillance cameras. So I understand the difficulty of being able to come up with an alibi that fits that, but the jury will be able to see all of this on their own and make that decision.
The other part of the court proceedings that happened yesterday, so one of the parts had to do with the DNA. The other part was basically, in layman's terms, the way that I understand it, has to do with the grand jury indictment. The defense basically wanted the grand jury indictment thrown out. However, the judge, after he heard everything, said, no, I think the court handled things the way that they should have. And so basically the grand jury indictment is going to stay. So he's going to trial, okay? Now, the DNA, the judge has not yet came up with his decision on the whole DNA situation yet. Hopefully we'll find out Monday or Tuesday, but I hope he don't throw it out. I hope he don't throw it out. Like, what are the odds of your random DNA ending up on a knife sheath underneath a victim, and you happen to turn your phone off for 2 hours that night, and you just happen to have been at that house at 9 o'clock the next morning after the slayings, your phone pings there right in front of their house. What are the odds of all of these things, right? I mean, I don't know. Seems a little strange. What are the odds that one of the roommates saw somebody wearing a black hoodie with gloves and a mask on, and then when they raid your parents' house, they find lots of black hoodies? I mean, I don't know. It seems like a bunch of coinky-dinks here. And your alibi is that you like to take long rides in the middle of the night with your cell phone turned off, I guess. And your DNA is found anyways. During the hearing, the defense and the prosecution went back and forth quite a bit, kind of in a professional way, accused each other of lying is the way that I understood it. Like, the defense was like, oh, the prosecution knew that we were gonna have this witness testifying, and the prosecution's like, no, we just found this out this morning. Or, you know, so they were going back and forth. What I will say though, is that if prosecution, Mr. Bill Thompson, who I think is adorable, but if he's gonna go to trial against Ann Taylor, he sure enough better be drinking his protein and doing his pull-ups, because Ann Taylor, she's a force to be reckoned with, okay? And Mr. Prosecutor, Mr. Bill Thompson, he's gonna have to step it up a bit, is what it seems like. He's gonna have to get it together, because Ann Taylor, she's like a dragon. She is ready. And her client is ready. I mean, if you look at him in there, he looks like he's one of the attorneys too, and he is not sweating at all, which also makes me think, what the heck? Who could be in his position and be that cool, calm, and collected? I don't know. Defense also wanted to change the date of the trial, and the judge said no. The judge said yesterday, as far as I'm concerned right now, the trial is happening on October 2nd. He said, I've already cleared my schedule. Y'all, that is like a month and a half away. I would be shocked if they went to trial on October 2nd, but I'm kind of hoping that they do. And speaking of that, Bryan Kohberger's family was allegedly there at court, and I would have to guess, okay, that Ann Taylor spoke to them and said, it looks really bad for Bryan not to have any support here. You guys got to come to court. You got to be here. You got to find a way to make it work, because to the public, it looks like he's a person that has no support. That's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. But some of the victims' families were there, and y'all already know Kaylee's family was there. They're not playing, and I don't blame them. I'd be sitting right next to them the whole time too. And it is said that one of Kaylee's family members wore a t-shirt that is in support of the firing squad. And this is allegedly the shirt that the family member was wearing right here. So, yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you think about the DNA? If the DNA was matched to him originally using like a 23andMe, and then from there they narrowed it down, and then they were able to get his DNA from him, Does that make a difference to you or not? To me, it doesn't. Like, it is what it is. You know, if it's your DNA, it's your DNA. It doesn't matter how they got it. If you did it, it's your DNA. What else matters? That's just my personal opinion. We're talking about 4 passed away college students here. Like, we need to figure out who did it. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Other than that, y'all have a great, wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see y'all at the beginning of next week. Love you guys. Bye.